They say content soothes the soul. So tonight we're going to try to have some positive content. Well, it might not be positive, but we're going to try to have some positive content to deal with the controversy. And the controversy is that seemingly every team in the AFC South has gotten better outside of the Colts. Y'all have heard us talk about this for a couple of weeks now, but it's seemingly every next week there's a new player on another team in the AFC South, not named Indianapolis. And oh yeah, we're gonna do a mock draft or something like that too. But before all that, Sammy, start us up.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. And Bill Show.
Intercepted! Marlon Jackson! Marlon's got it! We're going to the Super Bowl! We're going to the Super Bowl! Marlon Jackson with the interception! He picked off Tom Brady!
The sickest Indianapolis Colts podcast. It's gonna be sick.
Yes, sir. It's gonna be sick. Oh man, the end of our intro. He picked off Tom Brady. The Colts are going to the Super Bowl. Will we ever hear that shit again? I don't
Yes.
know. I don't know. But
Don't you start your negative bullshit.
that's neither here or there, man. While we have you all, please like, subscribe, follow on all the things: YouTube, Facebook, the X, and of course, Instagram. Where can they find you guys on the X? We'll start with Baldhead.
At Big P Colts.
And where can they find you, Redman,
At Big Country Colts.
aka Hellboy? And of course, you can find me at Colts Clyde. Let's officially start this thing. That is the mighty sound of the anvil, and your crew is here. Content is what we're going to bring. So here we go. Let's start with the controversy before we end with some hopefulness. Every week, okay, we have come back and sat here and talked about seemingly the Colts falling further and further down the pecking order when it comes to the AFC South, based on moves that have been done by every team outside of us. Country and I talked last week that, hey, we've signed a lot of our own and we're going to build within, and we're going to believe in our guys. All is well. But it seems that every time someone adds another marquee player, it stings a little bit more. So if the damn Houston Texans were not already basically the paper champions, calling them the division champs before the season start, they have absolutely made their case even stronger as of yesterday, trading for Stephon Diggs, and then today making it almost a win-win deal for both parties by basically voiding the rest of his contract and upping his money a little bit and doing it on a 1-year do you type fucking deal. Help us win and we'll figure it out. Almost like a Kawhi Leonard situation in Toronto that year that he won. Different sport, but same thought. So how do you guys feel now with them already having Tank Dell, Nico Collins, Dalton Schultz, CJ Stroud, adding or trading for Joe Mixon, and now bringing in Stephon Diggs, who, oh, by the way, is probably a top 7 receiver. Patrick, you didn't get to talk last week because you wasn't here. How do you feel, sir?
I'm not panicked. And good for them. They've absolutely made some major moves. Good for them. Now, that deal, you're giving to give up assets, to give up money, and not to have a long-term deal, to me, is just stupid. It's just stupid. If you wanted to increase his pay, that's one thing. And like we talked about yesterday in our chat, I believe there's some things behind the scenes that we just don't know about.
Oh shit! Don't start that shit.
You just said it. He's a top 7 receiver with a top 2 or 3 quarterback in the league. Why are you going to let him go?
Well,
what the hell's going on there in Buffalo that you would let this man walk away? Let that talent walk away.
Oh, well, that's on that side of the house. I thought you were talking about Houston.
No.
Oh, yeah, it's clear, evident issues over there. Yeah, for sure.
So to me, that's just It's just a major red flag,
Who the
and
fuck are you waving at? What was that?
I hit my mic and I brought it back
Oh.
together. But that's a red flag. And
Adam.
then when I seen that report today about the deal that he cut with him, that's even a bigger red flag. Because I'm not going to make these moves, stick my neck out there, and then poof, you're gone next year.
Okay. Jump in.
Because if he's a free agent, he does not have to sign with them.
Yeah, of course. That's a good thing.
So for him, but not
For
the
them too.
organization.
No, fuck no.
See, you got to do what's right for the organization, not just the player.
That is good for the organization.
Well, you're gonna let a top 7 talent leave your organization?
I'm gonna tell you why. As soon as Hellboy speaks, I'm gonna tell you why.
Okay.
Go Hellboy.
This guy. I mean, overall, man, I mean, I'm kind of happy with it all. The way Houston's been, racking it up. Honestly, I like a good competition. I'm very competitive myself, so I want to see, the AFC South has to be competitive this year, not so one-sided as it's been for the last decade. You know what I mean? So,
who's been one-sided with? It ain't been us. Who's been dominating that shit? Yeah, I think it's been kind of a toss-up.
Well, you know what I mean.
Actually, Houston's kind of dominated over the last decade. If you're gonna be for real, yikes.
Yeah, but we do have the cheat code, and we do have the cheat code in AR. But I think we have the potential to have the better coaching staff out of all the AFC South teams. We re-signed all of our key players that we needed to re-sign. And as long as the coaching is solid and the player execution is solid, I'm not going to be too worried. It's going to be very competitive. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. It's going to be very competitive, and I'm looking forward to seeing that. But, I mean, Houston, kudos to them for making the signs that they did. I'm glad that they're wanting to compete. I'm glad that they're actually coming into their own again, as they were a few, back during their inaugural years and stuff like that. So, the Matt Schaub years and everything. So, I'm glad to see competition in the AFC South again overall.
All right, man. So here's my thing. To Pat's point, real quick, I think that it is a good deal for both sides because the one thing that we're forgetting is age is not just a number when it comes to football, right? The dude's going to be 31 years old, and he would have been 31 years old, averaging roughly $20 million a season, paying him all the way up until his 34th, going into his 35th year. At that point, I probably do want a 31, 32-year-old receiver on onesie twosies deals versus a long-termer like that. Now, that does not negate his play, but one thing that we have to do, because now we're going to switch gears to how our fan base, in my opinion, overreacts. And for that, I'm wearing my old podcast team, the Indie Boys. As you see, I'm over here. This guy, because I used to over fucking react. So shout out to Joe and shout out to my boy Q. Because they were more of the calm ones on that show. And I was the one that used to overreact a lot. But I'm getting wiser in my years. And I realized one thing, right? It ain't even 2 things or 3 things, is one thing. Chris Ballard ain't going nowhere. We might as well just put that to bed. Like I said, I like the guy. Don't get me wrong. I always think that he can stand to do a little bit more in free agency if he believes so strongly in what he's building. I feel like you have to, you can have a really great meal, but you still got to put the seasonings on it. And I feel like we don't always put the seasonings and the garnishes on the meal. But with that said, you know what I mean? You're looking at the Texans and the Jags and the Titans. All of them are trying to complement their now second year, very young quarterbacks. You can say we're trying to do the same thing by re-signing Michael Pittman. Okay, fine. But they're loading up on offensive talent across the board and saying we're going to hang our hats on these guys with our guy while we still have him on that friendly contract. And I think that's where we as Colts fans are doing 2 things. One, we're overreacting every single time somebody signs anybody. And 2, more importantly, because this is more internal to us, 2, I think we're being a little bit too gung-ho, if you will, on what, as you mentioned, the cheat code will do for our team. Mind you, I think he's going to be a superstar, but he's got to crawl before he's got to walk. And if we're talking about, well, when are we going to win? When are we going to win? Right? Like, is that next year? Is that the year after? So on and so forth. So then you got to pay the man. And of course, if he's great, we're going to pay the man. But what have you put around him to make paying the man worth the damn? Or are we just going to have a tenured 10, 12, 14-year quarterback that has all kind of numbers, all kind of accolades, great memories, and we never get championships or division
because he's got
titles?
nothing around him.
So that's kind of where, this fight, if you will, that I watch internally between the fan base, like, actually makes me smile a lot. It's kind of hilarious. Like, people were people really react, like, because it's always a direct shot at Chris Ballard. Like, literally, somebody can. It's like if you're fishing, right? Like, you throw a fish. I'm sorry, you throw your fishing rod out in the Gulf, and you expect to catch the fish that's in the Pacific. Like, it doesn't work that way. So I'm like, why are you guys looking at Casario and Rand Carthon, and I don't even know the Jags guy, whatever his name is. And every time they do something, that's like, oh, look at the fish they caught. Well, what did we catch? Like, we didn't even put our fucking fishing rod in the pond.
Didn't need to.
That's what I'm saying.
Our freezer's stocked.
Okay, I don't know about that. I think you're being a little facetious on stocks.
No,
we have talent, dude. We do.
We got a lot of talent.
And sometimes talent doesn't present itself with the name that everybody knows at the moment, right? We've seen that play out.
Okay, then where's that go? It goes to the coaching. You got to execute your talent. You got to execute your talent.
I put it to you like this. I'm not even bullshitting. I promise you, I'm not bullshitting. 2 years ago, if somebody would have been like, oh man, Nico Collins is going to be a dog for the Texans, you would have got laughed out the room. Why do I know that? Because I'm a Michigan Wolverine fan. And when he was at there, don't tell me he wasn't a terrible player, but that was a running team. You know what I mean? We didn't highlight our receivers really. So for him to have the career that he's starting out with is a lot to say about him, a lot to say about the system. But people all of a sudden now are saying like, this dude's a number one. Pump your fucking brakes. Like, let's chill the fuck out, right? Like, and even if he is a number one, I mean, we talked about this before. Kansas City Chiefs have won back-to-back Super Bowls, and they've won, 3 Super Bowls in the last 5 years, 6 years. Been to 4 in the last 6 years. Yeah, 1, 3, and 5. Been to 4 and 6, and they lost Tyreek after the first one, and they haven't had a star edge wide receiver. Now, of course, they got Kelsey. They haven't had a star since, and they're still trucking just fine. So, and I also want to put this out there before we change gears. Look at Michael Pittman's numbers last year. Look at Stephon Diggs' numbers. Not too far off. Really not too far off. And I mean, Stephon has probably 60 more yards. Maybe close. Let's give him closer to 100 more yards. He has 4 more touchdowns. But the targets and the receptions, pretty fucking close. And oh, by the way, he's playing with an all-pro in Josh, Allen, and Michael Pittman now was working on his 4th quarterback in 4 years. That being Gardner Minshew. Just fucking saying. But again, people overreact sometimes, right? Because I don't know. He's a bona fide number one, Stephon Diggs. I get it. But if you look at what he did last year, and you look at what our guy did last year, now all of a sudden our guy isn't a bona fide number one. He's our bona fide number one. Then there's that.
I call it playing keeping up with the Joneses.
Oh, my mom used to say that.
I mean, come on. Look, don't get me wrong. If Ballard went after Diggs and landed him, I wouldn't have been upset. But
of course not.
I'm equally not upset that we didn't go after him and we didn't land him. Because this team does this doesn't mean that we have to. Just because this guy hits free agency doesn't mean he has to come to our team. A team is made up with many pillars. And if our GM and our coaches don't think that particular player is going to uphold all the pillars of the team,
stop
keep
saying
them
pillars. I don't even like
keep them out.
Pillars. I don't even like hearing you say pillars.
Why can't I say pillars?
Fucking pillars. Who the fuck is
At the beginning of last year, I couldn't say JT wanted his bag. And now I can't say pillars. Is there anything else I can't say?
Well, no, I mean,
Talk about being
Say
canceled.
pillars. Just fucking do what you want. You have your own mic. Fine. What the fuck? Okay, whatever. Hit the pillars. Sammy, did we have a little bit of Q&A before we dive into our very much shortened mock? What we got? Oh, Chase, what's up? I want to say you all doing an amazing job. One question: if Ballard fails this season, is he on the hot seat? I think that seat is as chill as it's going to be.
Yep.
It's like one of those machines, you know, like if you ever had like surgery on something, it's got ice in it, and you just put it on like a knee thing. He got that type of chair, bro. It's real cool.
I do believe the clock's ticking on him now, though.
Of course not. No, it's not. Unless it's ticking on Ursay. No, it's
now
not.
that. Go ahead.
What the fuck are y'all trying to do?
We got our own language, bitch.
I guess so. Go ahead, man. What the fuck are you trying to say? What this motherfucker say? You know what? I am not gonna lose. This is my last show with you dickheads in America. I'm gonna remain American before I fucking. Anyway, go ahead. Say what you're gonna say there, sir.
Go ahead, Costa.
I already forgot now.
Jesus Christ, it's these motherfuckers, bro. I swear to God.
Bruh.
Okay.
Well, if you quit jabber-jacking.
Are you going to fucking say something or no? Is that a no? I fucking know.
It's
okay, fine. All right, cool. Whatever. No, but Chris Ballard, I believe, has the safest GM spot in the NFL. Honestly, I believe that he is going to be tied to Jim Irsay until Irsay decides to sign over the team to his girls. Now, if that was to happen and some kind of, you know, erratic change of events, then maybe possibly, oh shit, watch out. Like I have not personally met them, but I've seen them in action and just I follow some of their stuff, and like I'm telling you, they remind me of Cameron Diaz on the Any Given Sunday when she was running the thing.
Don't say that.
What the fuck you mean? It's like she wanted to win.
Yeah, she was horrible. She was a horrible person.
In the movie?
Yeah, I didn't
what
like
the fuck are you talking about, man?
Omaha.
That's not what I'm
Omaha because I didn't like her acting in that.
She knew the game. She understood what it took to win. She had tough conversations with the coach. She had tough conversations with players. Like she was like, "We're sitting fucking cap. And we're gonna go with the kid, which is Willie fucking Beeman, and we're gonna do that for a reason, despite what everybody thinks."
Smoking Willie Beeman.
Steaming. Really big.
Oh yeah, that's what it was, Steven.
The fuck are you?
That I deserve.
Anyway, I remember what I was going to say now. I don't think the
oh god, are you?
Yeah, I'm out. I remember now, motherfucker.
You Mr. Wendell.
I don't care. I remembered now.
Bring your sleepy ass back to the conversation and go.
I'm just saying the clock's not clicking on Ballard right now. I think the pressure is mounting, not the clock though. That's all I was gonna say.
We could have fucking went without that. Matter of fact, when we make it to, we gonna add like when we get to advertisements being added to our podcast, make sure you play over shit like that in the future, Sammy. He gonna fucking interrupt me to say what I meant to say. And on that, we're going to segue. Hey, did you jerks do your mini mock? Because we're only going to do the first 3 rounds. Yes, because if we allow Pat to drive the mock, we'll be here till draft day. He wants to draft for every team, every position, every round. Like what? No, fuck that.
Yes.
So
let's do it.
All right. Round 1 in the 2024 NFL Draft mock edition, Amble style. The Colts select Acosta go at number 15. Who we got?
Nate Wiggins.
Oh, cornerback out of Clemson.
Yep,
you decided.
I think we go cornerback in the first round.
Ugh, not gonna be happy with that pick. Fuck, I'll be angry.
I mean, I'm not either, but I think it's with Ballard addressing what he addressed at the owners' meeting, saying how much we still need help in the secondary. I think that's where he's going to focus the most on is the secondary in the first round. So,
and you know my gripe with that. My gripe with that is if you already had young talent that he's come out and said in the recent weeks that he absolutely believes in, you don't get better by adding more young talent. Like who's going to help the young talent grow? Young talent helping each other grow isn't impossible by any means, but that is a much more long-stayed journey, if you will, than hey, we brought in a vet that understands the game, still has good quality years left, and then our young kid that we really, really like attached to that person and learned in a much faster way. Why'd
We
you
have
get so
coaches
close?
for that.
What?
What
Why
the
are you so
fuck?
close to the camera?
Because that's something you need to pay attention to, damn it. We've got coaches to teach these young kids.
You looking too fucking creepy,
You
dude.
don't have to
Back
have
up.
a damn veteran in there to get these kids up to
Back
speed.
up.
We have coaches. No,
Back
because this
up.
is important. You better
Back
pay attention.
up.
Bro, that is some scary shit.
We know you're ugly enough.
That looks
Back
like one of
the
them
fuck up.
one of them gifts where the little babies like all on top of the phone. But anyway, forget everything Pat just said, because there's no coach that's done a backpedal on our team that played last year. Okay. So no, I don't care about none of that. I want the guy on the field in the trenches with the guy who's saying, hey man, you blew that assignment, right? And this is why you blew it. Okay, so let me fucking coach you through this by being in the trenches with you. Don't get me wrong. Yes, coaches will give you the fucking keys. Coaches will give you your fucking, your cues and all the other shit. But you need a dude on the field that ain't lost. Because coming off the field and talking about it like so many times they had to do last year really did us no fucking good. I think we gave up 87 what you call explosives, which was, I guess, average for the league, but the number sounds egregious, but that's anything over 20 yards. The problem with that, though, right, is think about when those over 20-yard plays fucking kicked us in the nuts. Remember the Houston game for the division?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, twice. In key moments in that game, it's 3rd and forever, and they got it like it was fucking 4th and 2. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's what I'm talking about. Okay, so no, don't forget what Pat said. He's important, but that last tidbit was some shit. Okay. And so to address your Nate Wiggins, not saying that the kid is a bad player at all. I think he's pretty solid. Played some good football at Clemson, but I don't think you address the needs by adding more youth. Just my thoughts. But Pat, we'll kick it over to you. With the first pick at number 15.
We're in the draft. It's all going to be youth.
That's my point. But that's the play. That is a key area of need already highlighted. So if we draft, well, I'll tell you what I want them to draft, but we'll get to that. But you do your draft. Your first pick at 15 is who?
All right. Well, everybody in the chat's going to be upset with me because everybody's saying that Ballard's trading down. I got him trading up.
This fucking guy.
To the number 4 spot. We gave up our first round this year, our 6th round, and our first round for next year.
And whose wife? Who else's wife is going to? Somebody's wife.
Well, we'll in the mix.
Please don't tell me you sent Debbie to Arizona.
No.
Good.
So anyways,
what you got, man?
We traded up to number 4 and we went Marvin Harrison Jr.
Okay.
Oh my God.
What? A bullshit?
This motherfucker's selling the farm.
Bullshit.
I actually no, better yet, you're selling the damn cow like fucking Jack and the Beanstalk, motherfucker.
For two first and a 6th? That
Chris
is not
fucking
selling
Ballard?
That's not selling the farm.
What is
I want
Chris
him.
Ballard's
I want him more than anything, bro. But come on, be realistic.
I'd give up 3 firsts for him.
Paul,
Jesus.
y'all are whoring yourself out on live TV, kind of.
That's what we do every week.
He said, "I'll give anything for him."
I mean, I got bills to pay. Okay.
OnlyFans for fucking country. That's gross. Anyway,
that's the
thought.
direction I wanted to go.
Holy shit.
And the crazy thing about doing the mock drafts is you can go a billion different ways.
You can
But
do all kinds
if
of
I'm going to
shit
go
like that.
away, that's the way I would go.
That's why
I did this as if I was the GM. I didn't do it at thinking, okay, this is who Chris is going to pick because this is the best fit for the team, or this is the need, or this is the best player, any of that. I did it as if I was the GM, just so y'all know.
Luis made you a little barter down here, Pat. He said if that happens, he will kiss you on the mouth. But if he trades down, you got to chug a boot.
Okay. First of all,
Yikes.
this is a one-person mouth.
What?
And
Dude, you're not helping it. Stop.
I have been with her for 22 years.
That's not what you. I know that, but the way you're saying things, a one-person mouth, that you draw a circle around it. Stop. What the fuck?
You're a dirty-minded son of a bitch, aren't you?
A bullshit.
Not on my show. Not on my TV show. Not on this Amble show. Okay. Yeah. Back to football. Christopher R. Ballard. Don't know his middle name. I know it's R. Would never. You have disgraced your father with such a fucking.
I didn't say I did it thinking he was going to do it. I did this saying if I was the GM.
So
this has nothing to do with Chris Ballard. This has everything to do with if I was the GM. That's
so basically you filled out the Scantron with crayons. Got it. Say less. Too easy. All right. We'll let somebody who might like football and like to talk about it speak on his thoughts at 15. And it's easy. Out of LSU, 6'3", 6'2", something like that. Brian Thomas Jr. Like, you don't even fuck around with that. 4.38 or 4.35 or whatever the fuck he ran. Of course, we already know Malik Neighbors is Malik Neighbors, so he'll be long gone. But his running mate was pretty damn good. Remind me, I don't know what it is about LSU, right? But Jarvis Landry and Odell Beckham were together. Justin Jefferson, Chase, what's his name? Why can't I think of his name right now? The kid from Cincinnati, Jamar Chase. They were together. Now you got Malik Neighbors and you got Brian Thomas Jr. I feel like we got to go get a player like that to add to a improving wide receiver room. So to go to your point, Pat, yes, you're going to always draft youth. But in this case, that guy is walking into a room with Michael Pittman Jr., who's been doing it for 4 years. Evidence is on the tape. And to your point, coaching matters. Oh, by the way, one of the greatest Colts of all time, Reggie Wayne, is your wide receiver coach.
Yeah, but do you really think he's going to be there at 15?
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah.
A lot of mock drafts got him there at 15.
Fuck yeah. I actually think Brock Bowers will be there too, but I feel like that's such a difficult ask for us because it really determines how our offense is going to go. Shane Steichen, from what I remember, I could be wrong, but he's worked with some big name guys in the past, especially when he was with, the Chargers, working with one of the greats, Antonio Gates. But in his success with the Eagles, I mean, you can throw out what they have, Ertz, but he wasn't like the focal point of that offense. He played his role, and I think we have enough of those guys playing our role. If you bring in Brock Bowers, you're basically saying he's so good, we have to start putting him in a Kelsey type. He need that type of action, and then somebody's going to lose out. Now, you got to share the football. I get it. You want as many weapons as possible, but those are the type of players that you can actually build offenses around. I'm not sure if we want to make, and I remember how high I was on him, and I still am. I would not be upset if I heard his name. But then what do you do with the likes of Jelani Woods? What do you do with the likes of Kylan Granson? What do you do with the likes of Will Mallory, which we just drafted? We're probably going to let Mo Alley go. Verdict's still out on whether Ogletree, he's still officially with the team, and I think that's too big of a room. So I'd rather go wide receiver and give him a bona fide outside threat to go on the other side of Pittman. Plus, you still got Alec Pierce. Plus, you got Josh Downs over the middle. And we're not worrying about guys like Austin Doolin. No offense. No offense. But we're not looking at that guy as the fourth wide receiver anymore. My thoughts. But let's move to round 2. Now, see, this is where the draft, I feel like, hurts us. This is a huge jump. We go from 15 to 46. That's a spread. So everybody's always keying in on the draft. And sure, there's always talent to be found in the draft and so on and so forth. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend like it's not. But we're also not going to pretend that in those first top 50 picks, having the earlier portion of that makes you feel a little bit more comfortable. Now, we've done some damage in the 40s. In I think it was the late 30s and the 40s. The JT Michael Pittman year, they're like late 30s, right? round 2.
Mm-hmm.
So like they were like 38 and 42 or something like that. Don't quote me on their numbers, but they were like in between the 35 or 36 range, 34. I think they were like 34 to 44 range because we traded back in to get JT. But not saying that can't happen, but just going with what we have at 46, that's a long time to wait from 15 to 46. So Pat, you get to start with 46. Who you taking?
46. I took Chris Braswell, edge out of Alabama.
Alabama.
Yeah.
Okay. I can't remember. Did I take? Okay.
You know,
I did take a edge.
I don't know. I've watched a little bit of his tape, but I've done more reading scout reports on him, and basically everyone that I've read is saying that he's got the power to push through anybody, and we really, really need that on that edge.
Okay.
You know, we need that bulldozer crashing in.
Okay.
So, really excited about that one.
All right. Cool. And I'm going to say something about that too after Country goes. Country, who you got? 46.
At 46, I actually think I got the dark horse of this draft as far as in the wide receiver position.
The dark horse. Oh shit.
Yep.
Okay. Who you got?
I actually have Malachi Corley going at 46.
What school is that?
Western Kentucky. Malachi Corley.
Hilltoppers.
Yep. Malachi Corley. The only thing, like, his size is a problem. He's a stout receiver, but he's only 5'11", but he's very physical. He's fast. He's agile.
Did you get to see him play live?
No, I've seen highlights of him.
Okay.
By the way, shout out to Kyler Lee and Gavin George. They're actually family of his.
Oh, okay.
So, cool. And that's, I'm being non-biased with that pick with those guys, but I think he'll complement this receiver core well. As far as like offensive play calling goes with him and his abilities, I think it'll be like a Deebo. He plays like a Deebo Samuel, but twice as physical as a Deebo Samuel, if that makes sense.
No, yeah, I've heard his name for sure.
Yeah. So I mean, he's a dominating force at the wide receiver position. He's very, like I said, you can switch positions up with him. He can be a running back if you need him to, or just, it's just you can do a lot with him is what I'm trying to say. I'm losing words in my head because I'm so tired, but yeah, I mean,
it's like the air being let up a basketball, but no, you're good. Keep fighting through it, big dog.
I'm trying, dog. But yeah, I mean, dark horse of the draft, Malachi Corley at 46.
All right. So I too went edge, but I went edge out of Penn State. So I went Adesai Isaac, which going to your point with Braswell, if you know our GM, one thing that he loves about the draft is actually the Senior Bowl. He loves the older players, right? And so for that, now to kind of combat some of the youth talk, what he also looks for, I think what he hones in on, is these kids that have longevity in their college careers and they've played big time football in big time places, big time games, big time conferences. So you brought in an Alabama guy. I'm bringing in a Penn State guy. Big Ten, SEC.
Both run pro style offenses.
Yep. Run. And so
and to me, I didn't mean to cut you off, but that's another thing that I look at when going back to your earlier conversation about who's going to, teach these kids up. The curve is a lot less when they come out of an offensive style or a play style that's already pro style.
Yeah.
The kids, kids like Braswell and yours, they're day one. They're ready to go.
Yeah.
So the curve for them is a lot lower than, somebody from Western Kentucky or Clemson. Clemson don't run a pro style offense.
Right. Yeah. So
not that I think that I know of. I haven't watched them in a couple years.
Well, I would say I wouldn't even say pro style offense because these are defensive players. I'm talking about they're in pro systems, right? They're
right. Yeah, I didn't mean to limit just offense.
No, I got you. But you take this guy. Another thing that I want to hone in on that Chris Ballard, you got to know our GM now, right? And what he's looking for. The one thing we as fans look for, we always look for the highlight number. So if you're looking at defensive end, like how many sacks they have, okay, that's important. Don't get me wrong. But the one that I think Ballard absolutely probably he might even rank that slightly higher is TFLs. Because you're now putting the entire offense in I guess in play when you're talking about how this guy defends. Can he get after the quarterback and sack him? Sure. But is he actually playing great run stopping defense and backing running backs up and staying at home on reverses and being able to, have quick early action to screen passes and that type of thing?
I was getting ready to say the biggest thing that people missed out on defensive ends, one of their other biggest assignments other than rushing is containment.
Containment. Absolutely.
And this is what this kid showed. Now I feel like he's raw. If I'm talking like Mel Kiper or any one of the draft day guys, they'll say, okay, for him to be playing that long, he's raw, meaning like he doesn't have an array of moves, but he's solid in what he does. He has an inside move that was pretty consistent, to the tune of 7.5 sacks last year. But the key is his get off is really, really good. He's able to, contain, and he is a pretty sure tackler, which had him with 16 TFLs last year. Now, again, I am a Wolverine fan, so I know this guy, right? Not like I know him personally, but watching him in the Big Ten. But, the name that you heard more of was Chop Robinson. See, Chop Robinson's more of the freak athlete out of Penn State. This guy's like the hard-nosed dude, right? So, to me, this is no different than looking at Kwity Paye. We got the hard-nosed guy, but at the same time, while they were together, Aiden Hutchinson was like, oh my God, that's the guy. And you can see they play different ways. Kwity is a grinder. His numbers might not jump off the page at you, but when you look at his overall season, you're like, that wasn't too damn bad. But then Aiden Hutchinson has like, oh my God, he picked up a fumble. He caught an interception off of a screen. He's going to have more of that. What's his name? Like the one that recently tired. Why can't I think? JJ Watt. He can be more JJ Watt. Yeah, like making plays like that from his defensive position. So I feel like two things can both be the same. Two things can both equal success. It's just what is the name that they're wearing on their back, right? So that's why I went with Isaac, because again, I watched him personally, and I think that he fits the kind of player that we want, because I think what we're switching from, don't get me wrong, we tried for Hunter. Right. That has already been said. We offered more money. He chose to go home. But when you look at it, I think we have an 8 to 9 man rotation that we might add to, which gave us production. I mean, we had the most sacks in our franchise history last year from a fucking coordinator that doesn't call up sacks. So we were still getting the job done. We just didn't have the one man wrecking crew, if you will. And sometimes two things can both equal success. So 16.5 sacks by one guy, or you combine as a team for 70 sacks. You know what I mean? So again, I feel like you can do both. And with that, I think that we just have to continue to watch these guys grow, develop. I know we hate those two words, but that's what we're going to have.
You hate them. I don't.
I definitely hate them. And there's people that I know and love that hate them. And then there's fans that I have never met or have briefly spoke with on our pages that hate them. So, yes, I am not alone.
I guess I'm the lone wolf out here.
You are. You fucking man. Holy shit. Have the Colts, outside of losing games that you want them to win, before we get to our last mock selection of the night, what pickup or what player transaction or something like that absolutely pissed you off, and I would never say you turned your back on a team, because some people are crazy, but made you say like, what the fuck are we doing? There's got to be one.
Philip Rivers.
Man,
Philip Rivers.
You know what?
I hate that potato head motherfucker, and he's done the best for us. But when they went after him, I was like, no, God, no, fuck no.
Okay. All right, so he is an actual real person, because for a while I'm like, I don't give a fuck what Chris Ballard and company does. You're gonna fucking do what I just did. Yay! Like, show some fucking emotion, man. Fuck, that was terrible.
I do, and I don't like it. I show it.
I wasn't happy when we fucking signed fucking Rivers either. I was like, what the fuck?
I wasn't either.
And then he took us to the playoffs. I was like, oh.
I know. And the crazy thing is, I hated that pickup, and he's done the best for us. But I loved the Wentz pickup, and he did trash for us. Even lost me money.
That's why you don't get him on your team.
Yeah,
hey, NFL, he's gambling on the Colts. Fine, it's
take it easy, Pete. Take it easy, Pete Rose.
Hey,
okay,
we're not that embedded into the organization yet. I can still bet on the team.
All right, man. So, all right, I'll start with the third round of our mock, and this is a guy that I know hit or miss, 2 different schools. I'm more familiar with him at Auburn over Oregon, but DJ James. Now, reason why I chose him, right? Because of course he's probably not super high on boards or whatnot. Also been in the system for a while, a lot of experience, played in the SEC, played in the Pac-10, played against great offenses, pro style and non-pro style. But more so what he is and what he's shown is like he's more of this zone manish corner, right? Like he reads keys well. So if you look at a lot of his highlight tapes, which is wild, right? Like you got to really be able to break football down. And I'm not by any means saying that I'm a guru, but you're like, why am I watching this tape? Like I don't see anything flashy or fancy here. But what you want to see is based on the scheme, based on the system that they're running, he has a key. He meets said key. He gets to, the ball carrier makes the tackle. That's what kind of fucking defense we run. We don't run, hey, we're going to do a bunch of wild and crazy shit. We're blitzing you off the edge. We want you to play physical up front and, this, that, and the other. Like we run, I need you to fucking get to your marker, be at your marker. The ball should be out by then, make the tackle. Get us to second and third down. Don't keep having us in first down. And this guy is pretty sure at doing that. Like 9 or 10 PBUs last year, only like 2 interceptions. But I feel like scheme fit, which is what I was going to ask Draft Vogel when we have a chance to talk to him. How important is scheme fit versus player? Because remember, me and Country talked about last year, and of course I'm using already, at that time, locked in key pro. But when Nnamdi Asomugha was asked to play zone and he only knew how to play man, he was fucking terrible. But when he was at Oakland, he was a lockdown corner because he was following that all. He was literally, he's like, whatever side of the field you're on, I'm putting you over there and you take their best player. Too easy, coach. He didn't even care what the defense was. Like, y'all run all that other shit. I don't care. Y'all be in fucking zones and I just got to chase this guy and make sure he doesn't catch the ball. When they asked him to be a zone guy, he was looking around like, do I even know how to play football? So I think that's more, actually, if I'm just saying it myself, I'll just go on a limb. That's more important to me. Scheme fit versus perceived talent. This sounds nuts. Okay. But I don't think a player like, unless we changed everything for him, I don't think a player like Sauce Gardner would work well in our system. He doesn't get to be him. He doesn't get to take chances and take risk and play a lot of one-on-one coverage and not have to be worried about this, that, or the other. Like, so therefore, as talented as he is, he could come to our system and we would be like, damn, is he really as good as we think he is? Like, and I feel like that's kind of where we are at this point. And again, we know we're not firing Gus Bradley this year, and we know we're still going to run a cover 3 this year. So for that, we just have to live with what we have. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably talking too much. I'm sorry. All right. But anyway, that's
fine.
why I go DJ James. I feel like he fits what we do in that scheme and that cover 3. Get to your keys, come up, make a solid tackle, get us to second down, get us to third down. And again, he would be a corner that has to learn, of course. And so you got to go through that process and so on and so forth. So does it make a lot of difference day one? Probably not. But who knows if he gets the opportunity, because for whatever reason, the Colts have been the most injured team probably over the last 5 years in the secondary.
Seems like it.
Like, I don't know, bro. So perhaps maybe. And I'm praying that we are better in that area. But I mean, conditioning and that staff, I don't know if they can do more than what they do. I really don't. Like, the player goes out there and pops his Achilles. Like, what the fuck can you do to prevent that, right? So anywho, I'm off tangent now. So that's my guy with my final pick, since we only did 3 tonight in our mock 1.0. I'll go to you, Country. What do you got?
I have the hometown kid edge rusher, Austin Booker from
Austin
Kansas.
Booker. Okay. I got
He's from Greenwood, Indiana.
you. Mhm.
I mean, he's not the biggest edge rusher, 6'4.5", 240 pounds, but I think he can grow a little bit. And again, words that people don't like right now. He's a very big developmental player. But I mean, he has crazy potential.
Don't
And
like
I
the
mean,
word.
no one likes that word, but I mean, he led the Big 12 with 8 sacks for loss, or 12 tackles for loss, 8 sacks, played 12 games, 1 start, 56 tackles. So, I mean, and a couple forced fumbles. So, I mean, he's got the potential to be a great edge rusher for us. I also think he has the speed to contain. So, I think he's going to be a steal in the 3rd round for us.
Ask Tyler how he feels about potential and Luis. Ask them how they feel. Travis too. Ask him
again. We're not getting all that right now.
Ask how Daniel feels about it, because he's fucking. Well, we can do it, guys. Fuck. You just gotta believe. Gotta believe. It's like Ted Lasso. You gotta put that up there by your door, right above your door, Pat. When you walk in your room, believe and hit that shit when you go out to sell weed every day. Anyway,
And what's above my door? That's what's above my door, young man.
Is that LeBron James? What is that?
No, it's a soldier with angel wings.
Oh,
American Angel Wings.
all right, okay. Fucking here you go, patriotic Pat. He might start crying.
Damn right.
Patriotic Pat.
All right, man.
That's got a ring to it.
Who you got? Your third and final pick of our mock 1.0.
Well, before I get to my third and final pick, we got to
Crisis.
do a special shout out to someone we know that's got a birthday coming up. That's not going to be with us during his birthday.
What?
And that would be you, Mr. Clyde.
Dude, that's like at the end of the month. Thank you, sir.
I know, but you're not going to be with us.
Okay.
That's the problem.
Where's the gift?
It's getting ready to come. On 3, Acosta. 1, 2, 3. Happy
birthday to you.
Happy birthday
to
you.
Happy birthday,
Mr. Clyde. Happy birthday.
To you.
Hey, and I promise you this, brother. Every day you're deployed, my prayers will be out to you and all the soldiers. Come home safe, brother.
Thank you.
That chug was for you, buddy.
Bro, that's way too early. I'm definitely going to be on another podcast before April 27th, but I mean, it's the thought.
Just in case you're not.
Okay.
But anyways, my third pick is Kareem
Abdul-Jabbar. He retired. He plays basketball. No, I'm just kidding.
Or not Kareem. Cameron Kinchens. I don't know if I Kinchens. Safety out of Miami.
Oh yeah. He's actually.
I'm sure I slaughtered his name with my deflex gas.
He's not bad.
Again, with this guy, same as Braswell, I haven't seen a whole bunch of tape, just haven't had the time. But the scouting reports that I've read, I really like his kid, very versatile, and the 1-2 zone and cover 3.
Yeah, so
very, very versatile kid. And to me, with what you said about the talent fitting the scheme, this one fits it. And hopefully Julian Blackmon's back. I love him to death. But man, he's back this year, but next year.
No, yeah, and I think that that under the rating 1-year deal signing was a Hail Mary, because though we've talked Justin Simmons, though we've talked Xavier Howard, I don't think. Well, I ain't even gonna say I don't think we don't have the money for these guys, even on 1 years, in my opinion, unless because these dudes were cut. So, well, I might maybe. Because they might still be getting some money from their previous team. There might be something, I don't know. But I think that we have to ensure that we get our draft pick side first. Then we'll have some cap casualties probably. I think Mo Alley will be one. We'll probably cut him late in the camp or some shit like that. It might be 1 or 2 other ones. Might be a surprise in there. I mean, I don't know who the surprise is, but it might be a surprise. But I know last year we were really, really hype on our 4th round pick or 5th round pick, Daniel Scott out of California. So he tore his ACL, and Sammy says we had a question, so we're gonna take them real quick. But he tore his ACL, and then of course he missed the whole season. So I feel like he'll be in there, jockeying for that position as well. And honestly, we might feel from within. Rodney Thomas another year, Nick Cross another year, Julian is back. Scott to come back. You're asking a lot. Of course, we want quick fixes, right? Like, you don't want to keep seeing a hole in the wall. Like, when are you going to call the guy out to patch it and paint it? But maybe we might have to keep looking at the hole in the wall until we realize, like, we can patch and paint it ourselves. And I think that's what we might end up doing in the secondary. And that sounds tremendously terrible, especially with all these receivers being dumped in our division like rainfall. But the boys are going to have to learn on the fly. That's what they're going to have to do. Dallas Flowers coming back. He's going to have to be better than ever. Juju Brents is going to have to show, like, hey, I'm worth the second round pick grade that you put on me. You know what I mean? Like Jalen Johnson, hey, I was a 7th rounder, but I got a lot of opportunities to play last year. I got to be able to play that way. Kenny, I'm the best nickel in football, and I got to show it. Like, fuck, that's where we at, bro. Shit. Anyway, question time before we get out of here, because now I'm fucking about to have a conundrum.
Do you think New York City would be okay if their GM acted like Ballard? Ballard can be a GM on a big market team and no big moves and free agent.
Fuck
What
no.
do you think?
No, any major market for football, that is. I won't even go city. But you can, I mean, because the Giants, they've been kind of, they got 2 Super Bowls in the 2000s, so we're not going to pretend like they didn't do that. But that and Philly, of course, those are probably the hardest markets to be GMs because you're fans. And the Jets, which is New York as well, they're going to be on your fucking neck. But any like major football market, so the Bears, Chicago fans, Ryan Poles, you better fucking be right about Caleb, or they're gonna be at his throat. Green Bay, you know how much that team is actually owned by the fans, right? Like, some people forget that. That's a fan-owned team. So yeah, they're gonna be really, really into what's fucking going on out there. And maybe a couple other few you can cherry pick. But yeah, I feel like he gets more of a, hey, it's not a pass because fans are very adamant about how they feel about him, but that doesn't drive his stay or go. Like, and I think we want to have that power as fans, and we don't. we fucking don't. We cannot hire and or fire anybody in the Colts organization.
No, they got Frank Reich fired.
Nah, Frank Reich got himself fired. Shout out to Frank. Really good guy, but no, we did not get him fired.
Yeah.
Like, constantly
You can't coach to
calling
keep your
screen passes.
job.
Yeah, screen passes got you fired, Frank. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, bro. Fucking second
Happened in
and
Carolina
fucking
too.
shit. Anyway, exactly. See, so that's how you know fans are getting fired. His approach to things, very analytical, very methodical, very meticulous, and all those things can be really good until you watch it on Sundays. You're like, bro, I can call your playbook for you, and I'm Clyde Wesley Oliver. Like, what? Like, this defensive coordinator over here has the easiest job all weekend because he's just like, yeah, screen pass, come up and tackle, and they're gonna punt. Like, what the fuck? Like, anyway, let's not go back to the Frank Reich era.
Yeah.
Next question, Sammy.
Oh God.
Oh, Louis, the anvil has spoken. We keep saying AR is going to be great, but he's not there yet as a passer. I don't think he will have a great first half of the year. Okay. Who wants to take this one? Who wants to start this one? I think this can be.
I think Pat would love to.
The only thing I'm going to say is,
You need a bag? You going to hyperventilate? What you doing?
no, not going to hyperventilate.
I thought you needed a bag.
Because the thing is, he's not wrong. His comment is not wrong.
Okay.
You know, Anthony has to show us what he can do. Anthony's going to have to get out there on that field, stay out there on that field, and prove all his critics wrong. Now, do I believe he can? Absolutely. You know, we got just a very small sample size of him last year, but I was highly impressed with what I saw. Highly impressed. You know, and then listening to some of the interviews with the coaches and things that during the offseason, they were always talking about how he was constantly in the film room, constantly analyzing, constantly asking questions, constantly working on his mental game. That's going to be huge. And if everybody remembers right, they were saying if we picked Anthony Richardson, we need a stopgap QB that he can learn from. We need to have him on the bench for a year or two. Okay, well, you got part of your wish because he was on the bench pretty much all last year, doing what
you
he's
got the
doing,
Godfather on
watching
the
and
bench.
learning, asking questions. Okay, so with that, that's just going to help him jump to the next level. So it's going to be a wait and see thing. Hopefully he can. I think he can. But Lewis's comments was not wrong. He does have to show us.
This is what I'm gonna say about the passer part. Unpopular opinion. I think for what we need him to be, he is there. Need him to be quick released. You need him to be able to read a defense pretty fucking fast. And you need to be able to complete the deep ball. That's what this offense is. Like gone are the days, and I'm not even gonna say it like that, but gone are the days where you need a Peyton Manning type quarterback to manipulate everything he sees and get you into the right play at the right moment at the right time, because that's the only way that play is going to work, because guess what he lacks? Athleticism. See, these quarterbacks now, and a lot of them can do that to a very small degree. Get you in the right play at the right time, at the right moment. The right key is called. Oops, fuck. Now that's actually covered, or fucking something happened, somebody slipped or whatever happened, and damn, my read isn't there. What am I going to do? That's not hard anymore. A lot of quarterbacks just improvise and go get the 6 yards, move the sticks. So that's what we have to remember. I mean, we got very much spoiled with the likes of Peyton Manning and then Andrew Luck, who was just precision, right? Like Peyton Manning was a calculator brain, and then Andrew Luck was just precision. When that motherfucker was on, boy, you're in for a long day. Like watching that Kansas City game in the playoffs, like he started a little slow, but once he got shit going, I'm like, I don't give a shit if Kansas City brings out a 12th man. It ain't gonna help him right now. Like that's how fucking locked in he was. So we got spoiled with that. But I think for what we need AR to do, he can do all of it, which is what you heard Shane Steichen say down at the meetings, right? He's like, look, a lot of people thought that this, and this, but let's go back to a couple incidents. And he talked about like, oh, boom, he realized that quick. He got the ball out. Oh, boom, he realized that. He saw that. Boom, it was a laser focus right there. Oh, he realized Pitt was this and this, got it out quick. Pitt takes it to the house for a touchdown. Like, yeah, he might be there.
Yeah.
My thoughts. All right, what's the next question? There is our guy. Okay, wait. He's always asking.
What player at this point, if you're the GM, is on the table to you to make a trade of players and or picks for? AR is overrated until he can prove himself.
Damn. What the fuck is wrong with this guy? What player at this point, if you're the GM, is on the table to you to make a trade of players and or picks for? So are we talking draft? Or are we talking like who else? Like, are we going to pull a Houston and bring somebody in randomly? Is that what he's saying? I think we can.
Well, like I'm taking it as if Ballard moves up in the draft and they want a player with picks, who would that player be?
Oh, I see. Okay.
I would say Alec Pierce.
Fuck no, that ain't who they want. No. Fuck no, Pat. That is
Well,
not
how the hell else
anybody
you gonna
wants.
give up?
That's my point. We paid everybody.
Yeah.
So that would be a first, that you trade a guy you just paid. Like literally didn't even get him into the next season. So honestly, I would say prior to this. No, actually I can say it. I think it's Buck. Because I was gonna say prior to this, but I forgot that Kenny was actually a free agent, so we couldn't have traded him. He wasn't on his last year. So to me, it would have been Kenny if he was in that position as Buck, because Buck is on his last year of the deal. And I know he's a fan favorite. We love him. This dude's a dog. He's been killing it ever since he joined the Colts 4 or 5 years ago. But he just turned 30. And not saying that by any means that means all shit he's about to hit as we've seen players over 30 are still getting paid. Hunter was one of them. Fucking Stephon Diggs is another. You name it. You turn 30, you still can get a paycheck in the NFL. But what I'm saying is, if you're like, this is to do this for now, meaning we're going to go get the Marvin Harrison to pair with the Anthony Richardson, who's on his rookie deal. And by the way, we got JT, we got Michael Pittman, blah, 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 blah. I think Buck is the only player that hasn't been paid currently that somebody would want.
I can honestly see Ryan Kelly.
How far are we jumping? Because if we're going to 4, no, Ryan Kelly ain't getting us to 4. I think Buck can get us to 4.
Like Adam J just said, Q could get us to 4.
I think Ryan Kelly was some with. I think Ryan Kelly was some draft.
I'm trading fucking Q. Fuck you.
We ain't trading Buck. Fuck you.
But Buck is probably more. Buck is probably more
worth more.
Probable. No, he's probably more probable for a trade because. What does that next deal look like? The man has earned whatever I hate to say shit like that because then I sound like crazy. But the man has earned a check.
You sound like a Titans fan.
Well, but no, I'm saying like Chris Ballard, again, he could come in and try to itemize Buck all he wanted to. Be like, hey man, if there's been one consistent player from the time they showed up since you've been here, that's that guy. He's been the one.
But I mean, realistically, though, Ballard being Ballard, he'll trade draft capital before he'll trade players.
Oh yeah, facts. Okay, we just answering the question. Like we're totally just answering the question. But he ain't trading no ones to not get a 1 back. I mean, when we traded our 1, we went back 3 spots and still got the player we wanted. We just realized like, hey, these quarterbacks right now are not quarterbacking. And I'm glad that he had the hindsight to look at that because that's the Sam Darnold year. And who else was in that fucking draft? Because the Jets came
Zach
up.
Wilson.
Oh, yeah, because that was the draft. Was that the draft that they took Trevor? No, it wasn't Trevor draft.
No, not Trevor.
No. Yeah, you're right. It's like Zach. Was it Zach Wilson? He ain't been like that.
I believe it was.
It definitely was Sam Darnold because the Jets came and got him. But I felt like it was somebody else in that draft too. And I'm glad that he had the foresight to be like, look, I don't give a fuck what y'all talking about. That's not the future of a franchise. I will fall the fuck back. He only went back 3 spots. Got the fucking the bounty of picks for the following year, which he loaded up and went nuts. You know what I mean? Because that year, that's when he took Q and he took Darius when his name was Darius. Then the next year he was like, oh yeah, the Jets gave me all these picks. Let me get Michael Pittman and JT. Let's fucking party. Like it's 1999. Let's get it. So yeah, he a 1 for 1 because our 1 ain't strong enough. We're not in the top 10. So that ain't gonna happen. And if it's a 1-1, I mean, and then people are always trying to estimate those, right? Because if you're good, your 1 is your 1 really that great? I mean, you still got it if you're in the 20s, still a first round pick, but is that like having a lottery pick? No. Mm-hmm. But maybe you position yourself as the new team that received it to do something. Maybe. I don't know. You can get really sophisticated. Like I watch the Draft Day movie every year around Draft Day and think that that's how it really works. And it's not. But it's cool to think that it does. You know what I mean? Like you're not going to trade that fucking pick that morning and get the motherfucker back the same day and then get everybody you wanted at the same time. It's insane.
Like Vontae Mack, no matter what.
Yeah, if a GM does that, he is the fucking GOAT. Like I traded away my shit at 7 a.m., whatever the fuck time it was, and got the motherfucker back like before, like no, that's never gonna happen. He said, I want them all back. What do you call him? You did you say you potato eating motherfucker or something?
Pancake.
Pancake.
Pancake motherfucker, I want them all back.
He said, I want my pick. I want them all back.
Son of a bitch.
Pancake eating son of a bitch. Yeah, that was pretty fucking good. Kevin Costner played his ass off on that. Okay, boys, we have had a hell of a show. Hopefully we've calmed the stable because I'm telling you, man, they were stirring up. Yesterday, them motherfuckers were stirring. Actually, they haven't even had a chance to settle yet because last week it was L'Jarius Sneed to the Titans. Like, and then actually a couple weeks before that, it was fucking Ridley to the Titans. Like, we haven't been able to like keep the fucking horses in the stable. Even motherfuckers been kicking and bucking and horseshoes is flying off left and right. People are fucking saying Chris Ballard got to go tonight, packing shit up. Like they said, the Mayflower came. I read something that was so fucking funny. I'm gonna fuck it up, but it said something along the lines of the Mayflower came 40 years ago, and now it's about to come back to take us away because Chris Ballard is killing the French. Some shit like that. It was insane. But I was like, wow, like people are really going through it. Okay.
Hey, Adam J, don't forget that year when we did not take Josh Allen or Lamar, we still had Andrew Luck. He didn't retire until
the 16, 17,
18.
18 is when they came out.
I believe so.
But we're not gonna do the Josh Allen thing. Like,
how about we quit reminiscing? How about that?
Because this is why this isn't fair. Before we get the fuck out of here, Josh Allen played at Wyoming, and Josh Allen's first 2 years in the NFL were absolutely blooper reels. This motherfucker was throwing the football like, I'm not even bullshitting, bro. Like, he would have like a 15-yard out or in pattern or a slant or some shit, and that shit would sail clear over the out of the fucking screen sometimes. The dude made a crazy improvement from year 2 to 3 from Brian Dable and Ken Dorsey. It's like they fucking went in the lab and actually changed some of his fucking attributes, like in Madden. Like, okay, bump his accuracy up and drop his throw power or something, because this motherfucker, it's like he was doing something like that because he was completely out of his mind, and now he's like out of his mind in a positive direction, right? So that one is kind of up in the air because I think other quarterbacks are graded much higher than him, i.e., look at the Darnolds, Zach Wilson of all people. Fucking Mitch Trubisky, Jesus Christ. It's like, are you kidding me? Like, and you've seen that didn't really pan out. So the quarterback thing, I'm not too upset about. We had to wait a while, but I think he's here. You know what I'm saying? That's just my thoughts. But no, definitely what you say, Adam J. But the one thing that is real is that we chose Rock Ya-Sin over the likes of DJ Metcalf. And,
shit.
And AJ.
Oh,
let it go, Louis.
Terry, scary Terry. Don't fucking forget that shit. No, motherfucker, because I was at that draft and I fucking stood in the rain. You didn't do that. Then we traded out the first round. I had to go home cold and shit. And I came back the next day
personal problem
with a lot of fucking energy. And then they said we fucking drafted a wrestler to play cornerback, and I was going to choke you before I knew you and slap him.
That sounds like a fucking
fuck y'all. I would always fucking hold that near and dear to my heart because I was like, who the fuck is this? Sammy, get me out of here.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast and Bill Show on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.